Hey, what's up, everybody? I just wanted to, I guess, go through and show you how to do basic addition, subtraction, multiplication, division functions in Excel. So for some people, this video won't even be necessary because you've done this in the past, you've already learned this. But for other people, it may be helpful. So I was just going to kind of use this Excel spreadsheet I have up here on the screen, which is an income statement and a balance sheet for a fictitious company, and show you how to do basic functions in Excel. So, um, so the first thing I'm going to do is you can see I have my revenue and my cost of goods sold. So the formula, of course, to figure out gross profit is sales or sales revenue minus cost of goods sold. So the first thing I'll do is hit an equal sign, which tells Excel, hey, I'm about to do a formula here. And then I can just click on this cell. This is cell B5, which shows the amount of sales, type minus, and click on cell B6. When I hit enter, it's done the math for me. So my gross profit is 58,000. So again, if you've done this before with Excel, pretty easy, right? Like this is easy stuff. But for people who've never done it, it can seem pretty confusing. So for total expenses, I could hit an equal sign and then just click this cell plus this cell plus this cell plus this cell plus this cell, and that would give me my total expenses. But another way I can do this is I could just click on this and use a function, an Excel function that's called sum. And I can just go equals and I can type it SUM and then do an open parenthesis and then highlight all of the cells I want to sum or add up. And then close the parenthesis, hit enter, and it will do the same thing for me. There's also a shortcut for sum, which I actually have on my regular bar up here, but you can't see it because I'm not full screen with my Excel here. But if you look under data, I'm sorry, not under data, under formulas, you'll see this auto sum button. I'll show you, you can do the same thing. So again, I could just come here, click auto sum. It guesses where I want to add up, and it guessed right because I have a nice break in there. And then once you have the ones highlighted that you want to add up, you just hit enter and it does it. And then my net income is just my gross profit minus my total expenses. So again, hitting equal tells Excel, okay, I'm going to put a formula in here. And then you click on the cell, hit minus, and then click on the cell that you want to subtract from it, and it does it for you. So again, if you already knew how to do that, well, it only took about a minute of your time. If you didn't know how, then hopefully it was helpful. We'll do the same thing here for our total current assets. I'm just going to use my sum button, hit enter, and I'll get my total current assets. I can do the same thing for my total property, plant, and equipment, hit the auto sum. And then for total assets, if I use auto sum, it's going to guess all of this. So I'm just going to hit equals, click on my total current assets plus my total property, plant, and equipment, and that'll give me my total assets. For my liabilities over here, we only had one current liability, so we don't have a total current liability. Same with our long-term, we only have one. So for my total liabilities, I'll just do the amount of my current liability plus the amount of my long-term liability. There we can see our total liabilities. Equity, we have our stock and our retained earnings. So I'll just sum those up to get my total equity. And then to get my total liabilities plus stockholders' equity, I can just hit equal, click on my total liabilities plus my total equity. And hopefully, if I did everything right, my total assets will equal my total liabilities and my equity. So there I have my income statement and my balance sheet all done. And I'm hopefully a little bit more comfortable now using just basic plus, minus, and sum in Excel. I'll also show you how to use some division ones here just by doing a few of these ratios. So for example, we have our gross margin, or sometimes it's called our gross profit margin ratio, where it's going to divide our gross profit by our revenue, okay? And by revenue, I mean sales. So if I hit equals, and then I click on my gross profit, and then I use the slash for a divide and click on my sales, that will give me my gross margin, 0.58 or 58%. My net margin is just my net profit divided by my revenue. So again, I'll hit equal. I'll click on my net income or net profit. Those are synonymous terms, and divide that by my sales. My current ratio is my current assets divided by my current liabilities. So I'll say equals, click on my total current assets divided by my current liabilities. My days in inventory, this one's a little bit different, right? Because now I have to use my average inventory divided by my cost of goods sold per day. So this one will get a little bit more complicated. So first of all, we only know our inventory here as of the end of 2023, but we have a little note up here that tells us our inventory at the end of 2022 was 1,500. So in the numerator, I'm going to have my average inventory, which is the 2023 inventory. Whoops, I forgot to hit equals, and then I use a parenthesis to tell Excel I'm separating this out, okay? And you'll see what I'm doing, but this one will be a little more complicated. So I'll have my 2023 inventory plus my 2022 inventory, which I can't click on because it's part of this text here. So I'm just going to type it in, 1,500 divided by 2. So that will give me the average inventory, right? The 2023 inventory plus the 2022 inventory divided by 2 gives me my average inventory. And then I'm going to divide that by my cost of goods sold per day. So divided by the number of days in a year. The book that I pulled this from actually uses a 360-day per year convention, which is something they used to do a lot in finance, where it just made life easier to say, okay, each month is 30 days, and so 360 days in a year. Some classes you take will use that, and other classes will use a 365-day per year convention. So we're doing 360. So there we go. So this is our average inventory, the first year's inventory plus the second year's inventory divided by 2, divided by our cost of goods sold divided by the number of days in the year, using 360 for that. So that's our days in inventory. And then our inventory turns is just going to be 360 divided by our days in inventory. So again, hopefully that gave you some idea of how to use very simple functions in Excel. I can choose how many decimals I want this to show by coming over here and increasing or decreasing the number of decimals. If I want my gross margin and net margin to show as percentages, I can come up here to number and click percentage. And maybe in that case, I want to increase it by a decimal, etc. So again, this is not meant to make you an Excel expert or a financial statement expert. It's just meant to show you how to do basic functions in Excel. One other thing that we didn't cover because we didn't have any multiplication problems, but in Excel, for multiplication, we'll use this little guy, the asterisk. So like if I wanted to multiply, there's no reason I would want to, but if I want to multiply my cash times my supplies for some strange reason, that's what the function would look like. And then it would multiply it out for me. So there you go. Add, subtract, multiply, divide in Excel. And I hope it was useful to you. And I hope you have a great day.